Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Sonny here, and today we got another huge class rebalance. It's Friday today, Global Lab. This patch should be out on Thursday or Wednesday. I'm not entirely sure when we get the maintenance next week, but this should be out with maintenance next week. So we're gonna go through it. There's some great stuff in there. Make sure to jump by the stream at Twitch/bprimegaming. We are doing this live. We just finished the big breakdowns. This will be the TLDR summary for YouTube. Right. Another note, this should be the last big PvE patch. I see there's a lot of confusion about this. This is the last PvE update. They reiterate here in this part, the dev note, that they will still make adjustments over the next couple of weeks. They will still do some PvE nerfs, maybe some slight buffs if classes need it, right? And especially after today, I suspect there will be some classes that will need some nerfs. Some of these are crazy. But anyway, right? And then they will start on the PvP stuff. So sure, there's some stuff in here that affects PvP greatly, like cooldown reductions, cooldown increases. There's also some damage buffs and all. But the big PvP patching will happen in the future. And that's saying here, right, in addition, as mentioned in the previous development talk, we are careful planning not only PvE, but also the entire PvP system for a long time. We'll create a place, blah, 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 right? So that's coming, potentially the mouse movement stuff that talked about, resist changes, class modifier changes, and then also class PvP rebalancing. So look at this through the lens of PvE, and of course, there's a lot of these that will affect PvP. There are some huge class changes in this one today. So for Succ right here, we have some number changes. Let me show you guys the number changes on Succ. PvP, basically identical, just rounding errors. Turnback slash 30%, 15%, Wings of the Crow 60%, 10% Grim Reaper, and then the BSRs are getting 30 and 10% damage buffs for Awakening Succ. And yeah, that's about it. Now, Berserker, we've been waiting for this, and I don't know what it really is going to feel like. So I guess I'll give you guys the TLDR. In either direction, people are already saying, oh, it's nerfed. People saying, oh, it's buffed. And like, yeah. In either direction, I think this is a change because it's so massive and there's some buffs, but there's also nerfs. We're going to have to wait and see how this actually is. There's a real possibility because they are pretty much killing the R&B spam for PvE. That is not going to be enough for PvE. But they're giga buffing damage and PvP damage as well. Let me cover it, right? The gist of it is cooldown increases across the board. Right? Tearing Storm as well. 6 seconds, getting level 2. And Fierce Attack, the R&B spam from 3.5 seconds to 6 seconds, and reducing the damage when it is on cooldown, right? So you're not going to be spamming this anymore. And the other abilities here, Destroyer of Madness, 6 seconds, Rock Pushing, 4.5 to 6 seconds, and Folding Rock, change your wide attack range if you do not jump more than 3 times. The damage of BS Fury skill has been changed to apply equally when using the skill, and when using the skill consecutively, it's been changed so that it can only be used consecutively up to 4 times for Attack of the Beast, right? So some cooldown increases in here. Some cooldown increases. And, one sec. That's, of course, gonna affect PvP as well. And for PvE, it will also affect it. Especially the R&B. But then you have some absolute massive damage buffs on all abilities, right? This goes from 2 to 1 hit though, but some big damage buffs increases, and also PvP damage. There's also PvP damage increases in here. Some of these, again, depending if they are correct, you see this one here, it's not the first time. It's not the first time that they mistyped the amount of hits. So this here, if this is actually going from 2 to 1, then it's pretty much identical damage. But yeah, there's some damage changes here. damage goes up on all the abilities, so most likely you'll be able to fill the gap of your R&B spamming with the other abilities, and it should come out to be way more damage, right? Hopefully, because the class needs it in PvE. There is also PvP damage in here, though. As you can see, Predatory Hunt, for example, 50% stays the same, but the damage goes up. And it's pretty much the same across the board, but the cooldown increases, and like, yeah, like I just don't know. Is this going to be better or worse? So we're gonna have to wait and see how this actually plays out in terms of PvP. I think all of us were expecting the Striker treatment, where it just gets hard PvE buffs, and somehow some of those are also PvP buffs. This year it does like some actual real tangible nerfs that will affect PvE as well and PvP. So yeah, we'll see, I guess. Awakening, the ability to link ground lifting techniques when using Axe Destruction, Hound Beast, and Rampart. Cooldown reduction on Strike the Giant, 1 second down to 6 seconds, and Flow Ancient Waves is getting a cooldown reduction from 15 to 12 seconds. And Flow that was linked when using the skill Split Cannon has been changed to link immediately after the attack. And you also have this one here, the Fisting one. The Ground Lift technique has been improved to connect smoothly after the last set of the skill. And some PvE damage buffs on Ground Lift, Strike Colossal, Flow Splitting, and the BSR. So a bit of Awakening buffs in there as well. So cool. Next up, Goldfish. Always my favorite adjustments is to Goldfish. Changing it around a bit, there's some buffs in here. Evasion rate from has been moved over to another ability. They're moving this stuff around basically. The buffs, basically here they're moving the buffs around. So the evasion rate is going over to the leaves. And the AP buff is going on to Moonlight Strike. And it's getting a 10-second buff instead of 16 seconds. So, instead of 5 seconds, 16 AP for 10 seconds now. Cooldown reduction on the DP Shred from 7 to 6 seconds. And Flow Emergency from 10 to 7 seconds. And around like 20% damage buffs here. In some cases, more. Yeah. 10, 20%, 30%, 40%, depending on, like, some of them are garbage damage, like this one here, Moonlight. Like, it does no damage with this. It's gonna do some actual damage. So even though the numbers are big, some of the abilities don't really do anything as it is now. So yeah. Pretty solid buffs as well. And I think it's around a 10% damage buff on Succ Meva. Yeah, just 10%. Across the board. For Awakening, they are changing some stuff around again. First hit has been removed and changed to always trigger. So they're unifying the attack on this one. We'll see the damage down below. They are removing the AP buff on Frostflame. And it's now going to be a DP Shred. And the DP Shred on Full Bloom has been then removed, so they moved that around. I've heard that's one of the feedbacks I've heard that people didn't like about Awakening. And the attack range of skill has been increased on Oppression, the BSR here, some changes as well. And this is the unified damage, right? So just does the 1 hit, 2x, and then the BSR changes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Succession Valkyrie. Absolutely huge. If the class was a lot better than it already was, which is not, so this is probably going to be absolutely weak. 1 second cooldown reduction, movement speed is still slightly increased, cooldown reduction here in Sword of Glory from 12 to 10 seconds. As using skill, the shield purification has been linked smoothly, and Insla, after using skill, the shield of purification has been improved. River is prime. And then it's getting some damage buffs on these abilities. It's 20% damage, right? 20% damage, 10% damage, around 18% damage, and Insla is getting like 15% damage, 10% damage on Judgment, and the Judgment 2 is getting around 10% as well, and Holy Strike is getting, I think that's like 15%, 20%. I'm not convinced it's gonna be enough. Like, with how down back the class has been after the initial changes. Hopefully it's enough, but it looks low to me. It looks low to me. Especially in the context of what we're about to see. Suddenly, everything seems low. So, first off, there is no Awakening Witch nerfs in today. But there are Succession Witch and Wizard buffs. And I'll try to summarize this. There's a lot of changes, but I'll try to TLDR them. But they are freaking insane. So for both classes, right, Succession, the activation speed is faster. So it's higher DPS of the lightning discharge, right? And also the flow. Activation of the speed has been increased. It's a bit closer on attack range, right? And the knockback has been changed to apply only the first hit. But it's faster, so better DPS. For destruction here, movement speed has been... movement speed debuff has been removed. The defense description judgment match the effect, so no actual changes. When using a skill, the character will now rotate along the camera direction only before attacking. There's a lot of these, by the way. Increase the speed with the character rotates along the camera direction when moving. Okay, now this here is crazy then. Now we get into the big buffs. Fireball is getting changed. It will now deal the same damage if you insta-release it or if you charge it up. And they're buffing the damage. So, if you don't know, just that change alone is a 66% damage on Fireball. Compared to like insta-releasing it and full charging it, right? 66%, but they're buffing it even more. So that's also a pretty potential huge PvP buff, right? Since you're not going to charge them, you're going to be insta-casting them. Okay, improve the ability to character to rotate relative to camera direction just before firing the skill. Response flow, change the character rotate along the camera. And here it gets crazy. Voltaic Pulse. The effect of increasing cast speed has been changed from 10% to 20%. So this is the same that Awakening Witch and Wizard got. We got a flat, you had a 10% buff, permanent one, right? Now it's going to be 20%. So it's the same as having a permanent speed spell on. So for PvE, you don't have to use speed spell anymore. For PvP, you still use speed spell for party stuff. But for soul stuff, you don't have to cast that ability anymore. You just have that attack speed passively. And here it gets crazy. Because added an effect of increasing cast speed by 20% for 10 seconds when using Bowlight. This is for both Witch and Wizard. Awakening Wizard also has the 20% attack speed. So Bowlight had 0% attack speed buff, as it was. It didn't have it. Now it gives you the full 20% attack speed buff on Bowlight. It got a 1 second cooldown increase. Voltaic Pulse also gets it down. I don't know why it's not listed here. But it also gets a 1 second increase. So it's going to be 7 seconds instead of 6. But you now have a permanent 20% attack speed buff. This is massive for PvP. You don't have to cast speed spell anymore for yourself. And for party, it's still like 6% uptime increase. For 20%. Next up here is a cooldown decrease on the fire abilities from 9 to 7. Lightning goes from 9 to 7. All the lightning from 9 to 7. Remember, this also affects PvP, right? You get 20% attack speed or cast speed plus cooldown. You're gonna be a machine gun standing there blasting. And yes, there are some damage changes too. You also have the frost abilities, right? 8 to 7, 10 to 7. Frigid Fog, right? And here you have the Voltaic Pulse goes also to 7 seconds. So all of them are gonna be 7 seconds. You're going to have like a real continued combo as well. This will also be, I think, a lot easier for people picking up the class. I played it for a bit in the past, right? And you have to freestyle a lot. Now all the cooldowns are more or less equalized. And yeah, like damage goes up, speed goes up. It's gonna be insane. And it's already crazy. That's the wild one. But it goes on, it gets crazier. Just wait. So Glabs is now going to, when successful hit, the attack power reduction is removed, and it gives you the minus 15 magic DR that you already had on Poison. I guess you lost that with the, I don't know if Succ had it still, after losing the Red Orb. Red Orb gave the minus 15 magic DR, so maybe, yeah, I'm not sure if Succ had it. Awakening already had it. Cooldown to 7 seconds, like all the other ones, right? and the effects of the magic reduction has been removed, and the damage to fallen skill has been adjusted. Oh, it had it on the earthquake versions, right? So these are the damage buffs, right? Magic arrows going up 20%, I think. And here is the fireball unification. So you no longer do the insta-cast damage. You always do the full charge damage, but they then buffed it by 50% as well. So fireball, just giga chunking ability. The flame flow gets a 20% PvE buff as well. The blast area gets what is this? 50%? Like, I don't know, it's so much. It's like almost doubled, right? Double would be 70. It's like 80% damage increase. These numbers are crazy. Crazy, and like they're both top tier classes in PvE already. Plus the attack speed, right? Don't forget the increased attack speed, faster casting some abilities as well. The meteor downfall, the white area, gets a 20% buff. And residual lightning, which got the increase as well. That's a 10% buff. High pressure, 20% buff roughly. Discharge got a 20% buff as well. Diffusion got it's from 5 to 3 hits, so it goes from 25,000 to 30,000. Ground response, that's what, like a 30% damage buff. Dude, like, I don't even know, like, this is so wild. Got these as well. That's Fireball of Destruction gets a 10% damage buff. Voltaic Pulse 10%, Water Explosion just over 10% as well, and Balance gets, I don't know what that is, 12%, 50%. But wait, there's more. You would think this was enough, right? No, we're just getting started, guys. So they are making bigger differences between Witch and Wizard, and they are leaning into the big nuke damage on Wizard. But this will also be a big PvE DPS buff because of some other changes, right? So the big nukes, the inferior, right? This one here gets a cooldown reduction down to 10 seconds. Earthquake Destruction gets cooldown increase from 12 to 20 seconds. And Meteor Focus gets a cooldown increase from 18 to 30 seconds. However, when using the stage 1 and 2 skills, due to the effect of the passive, the cooldown reduction effects of each has been changed as follows. So for Flame, when using second stage, cooldown due to 2 seconds, now 6 seconds. So 3 times as much cooldown reduction. For Earth, it's the same. It goes by 1 second up to 6 seconds. For Lightning, 6 seconds, 2 seconds, gonna be 2 and 4 seconds. And then on Ice, from 4 to 2, it's gonna be 2 and 5, right? Depending on the skill you're using. And keep in mind the cooldown reduction of the abilities, plus the attack speed increase as well. So you're gonna get more abilities off to proc this increased cooldown reductions more often. So while the cooldown is going up, there's I haven't done the math on this, right? There's a good chance it won't actually be a longer time to wait for it. But what are you getting in return of the increased cooldown? Well, you're getting further damage buffs. So the damage to fallen skill has been changed. This is for a Succession Wizard only. There's other changes for Witch. Damage on Focus Meteor goes from 4 times 6 to, so that's like 35,000 damage. From 25,000 to 35,000 damage. 10k more damage on it. On Earthquake, it's gonna go from, what's that, like 50% damage increase. Earthquake Destruction is getting a 40% damage increase. And the Inferior, which got a 1 second cooldown reduction, is also getting, that's gonna be what, 20%, 30% damage increase. Now, I haven't done any of the numbers on PvP, It looks like there might be some PvP damage increase, but I haven't done it, so I can't really speak to it. I should probably have looked into it, done some of them. But there are raw PvP buffs in here with the attack speed, the cooldown reductions, and increased cast speeds as well. So yeah, this is going to be absolutely wild. This is a huge buff. Huge buff. For which, the Rising Earth is getting a 1 second cooldown reduction, and the following abilities here are adjusted specifically for which. The multiple magical arrow is going from like 15k to 18k, and the focus is going from 62 to 83k. Oh, sorry, that's a 3-hitter, so that's going to be 25k to that's the same actually. Never mind. The only change here for the focus is the change from 4 to 3 hits, which means less like speed ups. And the Rising Earth is getting, what's that, like a 5% damage increase? Yeah. A bit of a restructure. It gets more on the last set. So, yeah, absolutely crazy. To be fair, like Awakening, so Succession Witch didn't need any specific extra. It's better than Succession Wizard. So these changes here are mainly for Wizard. But yeah, kind of nutty, kind of crazy, along with all those other things. It definitely looks like Succession Witch, with how good it already is before this, is going to be godlike. And Wizard for that. Both of them, right? So there you go, yeah. Increased, yeah, the MMA is a big increase. For Succ, let's just move on, let's cover all of this. Succ Striker, cooldown decrease. It's already doing really well, I've heard. Cooldown decrease, easy to get your AP buff. DPS red has been added to axe chopping. Description changes. Change to the damage dealt reduced when using it on cooldown, so not spamming a knee hammer. And the damage dealt when using a cooldown has been adjusted. And we got some, I think it's around 10%, if I remember correctly. 10%, and these affects multiple abilities. So more or less the entire Succ kit got 10% increased PvE damage and some cooldown reductions. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Another class that got massive fundamental changes. So this goes a bit in both directions. Yeah, like we're gonna have to wait and see how this actually plays out for both PvP and PvE with Awakening Nova. But yeah, pretty massive changes. I don't think it's nerfed though. Right, so these abilities, which we're not sure what it is, they don't CC anymore for both Awaken and Succ. Yeah. Here you are getting a super armor. This ability, which is the F, like I think it's the dash. Super armor is added to it, so it's gonna be a 5 seconds, from 3 to 5 seconds. 5 seconds super armor stiffen movement ability. And then they're removing some other stuff, right? So I'll try and summarize the best I can. The big nerf, which is not really a nerf, is the Royal Swordsmanship. Absolutely massive ability in the kit. They are removing super armor from it. So this ability, the movement here, is getting super armor, and the Yoran, I think it's SLMB, is losing it. However, added stiffness on successful hits, and it says bound here, but all the other stuff says knockdown. So either, like, it's probably a bound on the last hit. And you can then learn super armor if you are using the core for PvP. I also quit there. Also, they are changing the mana recovery to be an HP recovery, and increasing cooldown from 4 to 6 seconds. So this here is what you're gonna see pretty much on all the big abilities. Right, so all the big abilities for damage purpose is gonna go from 4 to 6 seconds, and for PvP, so I'll talk a bit about it, because this one here, you could say, like, if you play with the acceleration on your super armor buffs, then you already have super armor, and now you have a double CC ability. But there are some other abilities coming where they actually removed the CC and gave them protections instead. So those abilities then technically got safer outside of acceleration, but now they lost the CC they would have during the super armor of the buff, right? So there's like some of these restructuring. This here is the one that's gonna be super strong. They gave some of them front armor, not all of them. So yeah, and they gave cooldown increases on a lot of these. Let's go through them because there's a lot of small changes here. So the Uran Swordsmanship got double CC, but it lost the super armor, but you can core it and you can get the super armor doing acceleration. Right, that's the BSR version, acceleration of them, same, right? The quick one, range have been reduced on all of these. We don't know how much. It could be very little, it could be a lot. Cooldown change again from 4 to 6 seconds. And the effect of increased cast speed has been changed to the comet skill. Anything else with the protections on this one? I don't think so. Nope. For the accelerated version, it's the same. For the ban, I know that's just the translated versions, translated names. The attack power buff has been changed from 5 to 10 seconds. Change so that the character does not move on the second and third attack when using the skill. And the 3-hit float effects has been changed to only apply to monsters, and the forward guard affects the entire ability now. So it didn't have forward guard on the CC part, but now that's PvE only. So this is again one of those where it technically lost our protection. Sorry, it lost a CC, which you would be able to use more freely with the super armor buff on for PvP purpose. So there are some of those where, yeah, like how is it actually going to play? And there's multiple of these. When used in the morning state, it changed from linkage from the first hit, and change to result in a 3-hit attack when linked with the counter skill only after the following skills. So depending on like which one you're using for this last one, right? Next up is the ring, attack range reduced. You're gonna see that on pretty much all of the abilities. Cooldown change from 8 to 7 seconds. And stamina is not restored when using the skill. That's like the big stuff, right? Attack range reduced, cooldown change, right? For Comet, movement distance, attack range, which were applied differently at each level, has been unified, and the speed of the motion attacks have been slowed down. When you use it in conjunction with other skills, with the same before. The knockdown effects on a successful hit has been changed to apply to monsters only, and super armor is applied when the skill is used. So I feel like the TLDR is they did move some of the power away for PvP purpose from the accelerated super armor state, but moved it more over into the general play, right? You get more protections when you are outside of acceleration, but now you lost some of the free CC protection stuff you had in acceleration. So instead of like being completely busted in acceleration, it's gonna even it more out. Yeah. Accordingly, when acquired the comet are knocked down with the core, you get knocked down to players, right? Cruel Ring has been changed. It can be activated with Shift F while in the sting state. Or whatever. A bound effect when a hit is successful has been changed to apply to monsters only, and a forward guard effect has been added when using the skill. Attack range increased though, and it's been changed so it cannot link the star ring while using the skill. You can only link the star ring skill after the attack is over. So is this like an animation lock? There's so many things going on here with Awakened Nova that we gotta have to see how it plays. There's a lot of good and bad things here in terms of buffs and nerfs, right? Next up, Bearing Ring, attack range centered around the character, defense judgment from forward guard to super armor. Health recovery is buffed from 240 to 300. Some bug fixes on Star Breath. And the Freezing Ring has been changed. Defense has been changed from super armor to forward guard. The time for defensive judgments applied is increased, so you can linker it more, I guess. The duration of the defense reduction effects have been changed from 5 to 10 seconds. Added sun applies to monsters. Acceleration, basically the same. Cross orbit attack range have been reduced. Change the character cannot change direction when moving. All animation curves have been stopped. Down smash has been removed. Change so that it cannot be activated during the cooldown. And better chaining when left clicking. Didn't it become Oh, it's the accelerated version, right? So sorry, I knew there was something here. The accelerated version. Same, right? But here, defense judgment changed from super armor when using a skill to an iframe into super armor. Cooldown changed from 5 to 3 seconds. Down smash has been removed. This is like the left click you're doing whenever you like dashing, right? You can left click. And now they added it to be usable after a bunch of abilities, so you can use it more often. The falling star piece, defense judgment applied when has been changed from super armor to forward guard. And then the status effect was changed from float to a knockdown. And orbital stamina consumption. This is this iframe dash. 150 to 100. Cooldown change from 1 second to 2 seconds. However, it can be used during cooldown. So it's an iframe super armor with a bit of linger. And now it functions very similar to what's it called? Head chase like warrior dash, but has a linger super armor, and it's a spammable PvE iframe. Next up, we're using the technique here. The final strike establishes change to link quickly. Break through the singularity when using a skill. The effects of increasing all attack power for 30 seconds will change to plus twin. Basically 10 more attack power right on the buff. And some huge PvE buffs as well here. Some very, very big ones. What's this, like 40% damage increase on this one. 15% damage increase. Some big damage buffs here, but you have to look at it into the scope of the cooldown increases. It's going to be easier to play this class, more approachable for PvE. And yeah, like, again, because of the playstyle changing with the increased cooldowns and how you would play this class, I played it for like 2 months in the past. It wasn't really that hard, but the looping of the abilities, you were using a lot of the same abilities because they're 4 seconds cooldown, they were destroying. So it's going to be filling in a lot more. So it's still definitely going to be really good. It's already great in PvE, right? PvP is what I'm curious about, how these changes will actually affect the class in PvP. And do remember, this is not a PvP patch, it's just PvE, but these have massive effects for PvP. Dracania, Succ Dracania is getting a cooldown reduction on claws from 12 to 8 seconds, and this is the Rabams getting some damage buff in PvE. That's about it for the class changes. Yeah, and that will be the last big one. They did promise us some adjustments in the future. My prediction is Succ casters are going to be... I can't even fathom. In PvE, they're gonna be so insane. There's no way they're not. Right, we finally got it. Some of the things they talked about at the dev talk are already in today. You'll love to see it. Quick response, quick additions. First off is the much awaited fishing Seamen patch, where you can now get a Seamen on your boat that will fish for you, and they are buffing it compared to the initial numbers. Instead of a 1% chance, it's going to be a 3% chance of catching rare fish. It takes 180 seconds as well to catch a fish. And they're making some more updates and listening to feedback on this as well in the future. There should be around, I think, 1200 fishing mastery fishing. Unless I'm wrong. So just sailing around, you're going to be fishing as if you had 1200 mastery on top of what you were doing. Honestly, I think it's so cool. I think it's super cool. Right, you need to get this fishing rod. You do that with getting a quest where you need to give 200 crow coins, and then you get the rod and you can give it to one of your seamen. There's also going to be an additional slot to fill in the seamen, and then you can give them the fishing rod, right? So the midship expands from 100 to 110, and they have to have the fishing rod equipped to be able to fish. The way it's going to work, and this is important, you're going to have this icon here when you are sailing, and whenever it fills up, then bling, you catch a fish. And it should take once every 180 seconds. Now, this here will reset. All right, it will reset if the fishing rod is removed or replaced when you dock the ship, or when you move into character select or swapping server or whatever. It will be paused if the durability is completely used up, if a sailor assigned to a fishing slot in a sail management windows becomes sick, or if you are not moving. So it only fishes when you are sailing. Other than that, it just pauses, then you can sail on. So you don't have to be permanent. You can like do turns or stop a bit, whatever. Next up, an awesome update. The fishing competition that has been going on for 3 weeks is now fully, officially a permanent part of the game. They are making it a permanent thing. It's no longer an event. It will stay in every week. At Sunday, it resets. The weekly fishing competition was changed to be reorganized and as an official competition every week. The target fish species, one of each, are updated every Sunday. Rankings are determined based on the largest size of the target fish caught during the week, and rewards are given according to rank. So I've heard that there were some issues going on where it wasn't a weekly update, so people that had already caught a big fish, their records were still active for the competition. I haven't been able to confirm if that's even true, but at least it will be the fish you catch during that week that are used for the competition. Next up, they are expanding the rewards to top 300. Not just top 100, 300 people will be able to get rewards every week. And they are also buffing the rewards. You're going to be able to, the one who caught the biggest, when you reach first place, you'll be able to caught the biggest tuna. All right, so whatever, if you reach first place with any fish, you get, I caught the biggest X, basically. I caught the biggest Migaloo. I caught the biggest salmon. Like, I don't fucking know. Right, and you get these boxes here, second place, gold bars added, and some new items, some new, we're gonna cover those, right? For 101st to 300, it is 1 billion silver, 3 wave essence, 3 of these, and 10 concentrated blackstones. The new wave mark is an item that you can get by placing first to third. So top 3 will get these. And for those, you can buy these permanent items. The number 1 fisherman, blue title for 20. So 20 times getting in top 3. You can also get a pink dolphin for 10. And a Migaloo statue for 10 as well. And then otherwise, it's just going to be 10 million silver per seal. And here's the shop, right? And this is the title, color, of course it's Korean, and the furniture. Now, there's more rewards in these boxes than currently, and they're adding a new, 3 new elixirs. And these elixirs, you can sell as well, and you get them by getting rankings. Now, what are they? There is a 3-hour version that gives you 20 EXP, 2 fishing, and 50 mastery. Then there is also a 5-hour version with the 20 and 50 mastery. And then you have the 10-hour version with 30 EXP and 100 mastery. And you will be able to sell these. The big version on the marketplace is going to go from 37.5 million silver up to 150 million silver for 1 elixir. And the way you get them is by these essence that you need. So yeah, super cool, especially for people that are looking to fish. 10-hour, 100 mastery fishing buff. We take it. Also, the following fish species will be selected as target species for the weekly fishing competition. It's gonna rotate between them, so it's like all the fish, right? Guild League changes. Now, if you enter Guild League on a character, that's the character that's going to show the stats on at the end, apparently. Now it's going to be the last one, the one you leave it on. Last character to enter, right? So you can't scam the stats anymore. Whatever. Mileage update is happening next week on Wednesday. So make sure you spend your loyalty beforehand. They have not shown the new shop. I'm pissed. I hope that at least there's going to be value packs in there, but act accordingly. Maybe they're going to post it like a few days before, Monday, Tuesday, who knows, right? But make sure you spend your loyalty before Wednesday. They're going to get removed and you won't be compensated. So make sure you spend them. If you're unsure if you need value packs or whatever, maybe wait a couple of days, see if they post the new shop information beforehand. But if not, just make sure you spend them. The sailor employment certificates have been improved, so now you can easily read the removed useless content from it. Big update here. They are adding the flame, the embers to Tungrad Ruins and City of the Dead. Great, buff to those places. And for Black Temple, they're fixing a bug where it will count as you being outside the circle, even though you were inside of it. There are some quests here on specific in the Belnos region with one quest that didn't give you an inventory slot. They're removing that or whatnot. And the UI changes also in today. The TLDR is you will be able to see your unified AP up here. So this is the new one. This is the space where you can go in and have some settings. And instead of showing your gear score, you can now see your total stats, which is the only thing that actually matters in terms of caps, in terms of grinding, optimization. It will also update, let me show you here real quick, this number up here. If you choose to show total stats, then this one up here will also be showing. So it's a great way to check your stats while you're grinding or something like that, when you have all the buffs up. And you get to choose if you want to include monster AP, human damage, camera damage, or demi-human damage into the stats. So you see here that goes up because he has some of those AP numbers. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. It's going to show up here as well. It does not seem to show evasion. So for that, kind of weird, kind of useless. This seems to be mainly PvE, right? Focused. I don't get it. I don't get it. So it's just DR. But yeah, there you go. That's an update. Hopefully they're gonna improve on it and do something with evasion as well, right? There's some changes to Solar Replay, make it better, and the big technology, the W we didn't even expect. You can now finally move chat windows around without going into edit UI. You can lock them and then you can drag them around on your screen where you want to. It took them 10 years, guys, but they finally got the technology. Hell yeah. Some changes here to the party UI. Some species added, icons changed for the guild mission, so they show what they're for. And W, another, finally, quality of life change. You can now enter the well in a group. You no longer have to leave groups and platoons to enter the well, to TP and use the Magnus. However, if you go into the Magnus to do the Magnus thing in there, you still have to do it solo. Burning Ember of Echo is the Ember of Resonance. It's the flame for the boots. W, fix of people with replay, doing star matches with cancel, refresh rate on long distance, guild span, you can't do that when you're in the guild grounds. And that's it. This here are some bug fixes, some basically changes. Yeah. Nothing significant here. It's like description changes and typos and things like that. So that's the one for today. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and we'll see you all in the next one.